Thank you, Henry. A very intriguing day indeed, where nobody is out of the running after day one. But if Reece Colley from Dudley is going to be a little bit closer to the race for the top, he may need a win here instead of being 6 points adrift of Niall Cullerton. As for North, it's been a very, very interesting day for him with some great displays. But ultimately, I think, Matthew Edgar, that he's quite disappointed with 4 points to this point.
Yeah, well, he certainly played better than the stats would suggest, or the points would suggest, should I say, rather than the stats.
First leg, it is Reece to throw first. Game on.
I go back to game number 6 when he took on Niall Cullerton. He hit 3 180s in that, averaged nearly 93. Ended up losing that game 4-3 to Niall, who averaged just 83. So a 10-point difference there, and he wasn't able to convert that into 2 points. And that was the point I was going through to go speak to Henry up on the balcony, and I heard Richard North saying how that one stung a little bit, that one hurt him, and he was frustrated that he wasn't able to convert that position.
59.
You heard Richard North say something?
Yeah, it's a rarity, isn't it? He doesn't like to tell you how he's thinking or what he's feeling.
7.
Richard North is the kind of person that if he was to get a psychiatrist, they'd charge him by the day.
Should just charge him by the hour, ask him one question, and then leave him to it.
And what do you think I did with an interview earlier? I asked him one question, he took up the whole minute. It's because he's got plenty to say and plenty of content like that. He's still an excellent dart player.
135.
Still got a lot to give. And I'm going to throw my hat into the ring right now. I think he makes the final on Saturday night, and I think he's got a really good chance of winning this week.
100.
He's playing the type of darts that would suggest he can. And he's got the pedigree that suggests he can as well. So I can't really disagree too much. Certainly in the aspect of him being here on Saturday night.
27. Richard, you require 154.
Good atmosphere if we've got a few locals. Like Danny Smith, Richard North. I'm sure they'd bring along quite a few fans. And you indeed could be here yourself. If you're interested in attending on Saturday night
58
for the Week 12 finals,
Reece, you require
or indeed
80.
For the grand final next Saturday night in Super Series 2, just go to dartshop.tv for more information. The
60.
tickets are free.
Richard, you require 96.
Colley missed his opportunity. Can North take his? Great decision.
80.
He thought that was in.
Reece, you require 20.
Unfortunately, our referee, Justin Bradshaw, confirms that it was not.
That is game shot and the first leg. Reece Colley.
Colley takes the lead. Somewhat languid walk back to the edge of the stage. And one of the other reasons why today has been so tightly compacted in that
Richard
table
to throw first. Game
is
on.
Because of the points, but the leg difference as well. And I cannot remember a
60.
point where anybody has won a daily table on a Monday with a leg difference of +1. Because that is exactly what Cullerton has done. That, to me, is bemusing.
100.
Yeah, well, when we look through the results of Cullerton, he won that last game 4-3 against Budgeon. He won 4-3 against Reece Colley. He won 4-3 against Richard North. He lost 4-0 in his opening game to Danny Smith. So even there, those 3 wins don't even counteract that
135
4-0 defeat he had at the start of the day. Now, legs is the first deciding factor when players are joint on points. So
45.
you sort of feel in a group like this where everyone's sort of beating each other, legs could come into play, certainly when playing for positions. So
96.
It's not just enough for Niall at the moment to be picking up those points. I think he needs to get a big win somewhere to rub off that 4-0 defeat he had against Danny Smith.
139.
I think the last time we commentated
Reece
together,
require 170.
we tried to pitch for a number. Bullseye.
145.
Knew he was going to go for it, you know. Someone's determined to get this 170 before the end of the day. We were pitching for a number to see what would win this group. And at that point, I said 22. And if I remember rightly, I think the winner got 24. So what are you going to go for this week in Group A? I'm going to say
96.
20.
Reece, you require 25.
I was thinking 20, but I'm going to go 22.
That is
Speaking
game
of two,
shot and
Reece
the
Colley's
second
got
leg.
two
Reece
on
Colley.
twos. And North is being put halfway into the bin right now by Reece Colley, who is playing some decent stuff here.
Third leg, it is Reece to throw first. Game on.
It's going to be no more than 22.
I would completely concur with that.
Because I've looked at today,
59.
the most points anyone can reach today is 8. The chances are a player who finishes on 8 is probably going to get a 6 somewhere, which means a 6 needs to get an 8, which puts us to 14. It could be 20 plus legs, or 22 will do it, I think.
I don't think anybody gets a perfect day in the first 3 days.
100.
I don't think any player gets 5 wins from 5 tomorrow or on Wednesday. I think that's how tight this group will be.
180.
As those darts were to each other for that maximum thrown by Richard North, the second of this contest.
140.
Something's starting to click for Colley here as well. That heat map around that 60 is starting to bunch up a little bit. That last dart for that 140 was remarkable.
$130.
Seems to be doing everything right here. And Richard, who was thinking
65.
that maximum might just give him a bit of breathing space, he was wrong. Double top.
32. Richard, you require 117.
I really thought it was going to be 3-0. We've seen these hit today. Got to throw it left.
That's
that
game
is a brilliant
shot
dart.
and the third
and a brilliant
leg.
check out from Richard North, because he was 1 dart away from being 3-0 down. And now he's back in the match. Not the first time I've said that today, but full credit to the player who's able to do that.
First. Game on.
Now, when you're Reece Colley and you feel like things are going against you a little bit and you feel like you're not at the very top and the peak of your form, things like that
60.
just seem to weigh a little heavier on you when you've had that opportunity and you think you're coming back. But he's certainly answering a lot of questions here today, Reece Colley.
140.
Great opportunity to get himself straight back on the horse after disappointment. If he is to win this week, he could win this week, go straight to Champions Week next week, potentially pick him up around about £30,000. That'll change the whole outlook on the year, because, well, it's your yearly
45.
salary done almost at the very first couple of weeks.
That's the thing about top-level darts these days.
60.
Whether it be on the Pro Tour, the Challenge Tour, the Modus Super Series, and some other places, there has to be a vehicle where this game changes your life somewhat.
122.
The £20,000 gave a little bit of financial security to Conan Whitehead in winning Super Series 1. And he lofted that check with real joy. Someone else really wants to have that same feeling come the end of next Saturday night.
57. $90. Reece, you require... Oh, sorry. Check 75, last score. Reece, you require 137.
Fair play to Richard for pointing that one out. Showing good sportsmanship there. Colley's going to leave tops. And does.
97.
What's he up to? Using the 25 first there. He's been hanging out with
65.
Simon Whitlock too much.
Reece, you require 40.
Nothing uncomplicated about this one. But it's being made to look complicated.
35.
Couldn't really have gone worse than that, could it?
140.
Now he's left himself in a bit of mess there. He will be fancying a return to the board, and we said the 117 would hurt. That would have hurt so much more. In these situations, you almost start
60.
to fear missing the big 1.
Reece, you require 5.
Rather than taking out the 5.
That was a nice positive single. And
That
how
is
many
game
times
shot and
today
the
has he hit
fourth
double
leg.
2?
Reece Colley.
He's been really good at it as well. I don't remember him going for double 1 that much.
fifth leg.
Guarantee you, based on what we've seen today,
on.
the odds compilers will have had Richard North as the favourite. So this is going against the grain, this one.
44.
I think I can guarantee you, after what we've seen today, that the odds compilers are not going to be enjoying trying to price up tomorrow.
I concur with that one as well.
121.
This is a nightmare, this group, to predict.
$140.
I think for Reece Colley's sake, he'd like to get this one done
135.
as soon as possible, but North is not going to give up. He's got the ambition of 6 points, alongside Danny Smith,
100.
still on his desk to be rubber stamped. But in order to get that, it's got to be 3 straight legs.
45.
If Colley makes it out of Group A today with 4 points, alongside John Henderson, Lee Budgeon and Richard
99.
North, I think he'll be very, very happy. Even though he would be bottom of the table on leg difference. Potentially.
93. Reece require 118.
He wins this. He'll be in exactly the same position as Lee Budgeon on -1. And he would bring Richard
82.
North to the basement
Richard
on
-2.
And it's looking more likely now, unless Northie finds 3 18s and bull. Well, there's the 7 taken care of. And this might be the last start that Richard throws today.
12. Reece require 36.
Double 9. Oh, it's just like tops 10s and 5s
28.
from earlier. Splitting them both
Richard, you require
with
95.
what could be a slightly tired throwing arm. He's going 2 double 19s. And he was caught in 2 mines as well.
57. Reece require 8.
Oh, look, it's double 2 again.
Game.
2s never
Shot.
lose.
And the match to
And he
Reece
doesn't
Colley.
lose. He wins by 4 legs to 1. And we've got one really crazy group on our hands for the next couple of days. You've got Danny Smith on 6 points. You've got Niall Cullerton at the top on 8. And everybody else, including these 2 players, are on 4 points. So when we come back tomorrow, it will be this fixture that you will see first from 9:30 a.m. Reece Colley, 82 average and 26% on the checkouts. It's good enough to beat what looked like a bit of a tired Richard North in the end, but ultimately it dangles the carrot for what we will see on moving day on Tuesday. To chew the fat, to take us to the end of the show, Matthew Edgar has joined Henry Deacon on the balcony.